sports teams. Too short for the Redskins, all sorts of stuff. So she's just going to talk a little bit about nutrition and all that related to sports.
Yeah, so I was really excited to come talk to you guys today. I got to tell you, lacrosse is one of my favorite sports. I think any sports dietitian would say that because... Oh, field hockey, I'm sorry. Oh, jeez. See?
There are a lot of lacrosse girls here, though.
Okay, sorry about that. That's the biggest faux pas, first of all, that a sports dietitian would do. Sorry about that. And field hockey, I should know that it's fall, right? So my mother played field hockey, actually. No. So anyway, but still, it's the case because your sport actually contains everything a dietitian loves. You guys, it includes speed, endurance, bless you, agility, power and strength, and strategy, okay? So all of those things require food to fuel all of those things. And the way our body works is each one of those has different pathways. So it requires a variety of foods to fuel everything that you're doing out on the field or here in the weight room. So I often think of your diet as kind of another piece of your equipment as an athlete, okay? So for instance, you would never think of leaving your house in the morning and think, oh, I don't have time to grab, my stick or any other part of your uniform. Okay, you would think, okay, well, I need that today to play. So it's the same as with fueling and the same as nutrition, okay, and your diet. So thinking of it as this is part of my sport, this is part of what is going to help me succeed in whatever I do, whether it's in the classroom or on the field, okay? And I know right now, especially in society, diets and food, and there's a lot of negativity that's around that. People are always talking about losing weight and all the latest diets. So sometimes, even as an athlete, you kind of get caught up in all that kind of talk and thinking. It's important to kind of stay focused on yourself and realize that nutrition and diet, you have special needs in terms of fueling your sport. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because nutrition can kind of be your secret weapon. So a lot of the teams that you all play aren't thinking about nutrition that much, and you guys have great coaches that realize that that's part of what's going to make you successful out there, okay? So what I thought I would do, because before I turn you over to the strength coach, is I just wanted to go over 3 main points and areas in your diet that by focusing on it can really help you feel stronger, faster, have more agility, and most importantly, be able to think on the field. You guys have to think really fast. And if you think about it, your brain, 30% of what you eat, 30% of the calories or energy that you take in is used by your brain. 30%. So when you're thinking in school all day, then you're getting on that field and having to learn all the strategies of plays, your brain is probably one of your most important muscles. So we have to think about that too. Okay? So I gave you a little handout. This is the handout that I used actually with field hockey at University of Maryland. I work with the various teams. I usually do a team talk like this before the season or at the beginning of the season to help them kind of put their eating in perspective. And this is a perfect time for you all because I hear that you don't start school until next week. Is that true? Okay. So this is great. You're just about to, sorry about that. Sorry about the reminder. You're just about to change your schedules, okay, and get into a new routine. This is a perfect time to start looking at your nutrition and your diet because then you can start off the school year, since you're changing all your other kind of schedules, you can implement the eating schedule with it, okay? So we're going to go over this handout really quick, but what I'm going to actually ask you to do is turn to the back. We are going to start with number 3. And the reason I'm starting with number 3, which is timing or your eating pattern throughout the day, is because it would be really unfair of me to ask you to make a healthy food choice or to manage your portions if you're not eating consistently and you're hungry and tired and kind of sluggish. Because think about the last time you were starving hungry. Okay, hopefully that's not right now because this will be a long hour. But when you're starving hungry, chances are you weren't running to the refrigerator to get a salad, okay? Chances are you wanted something a little bit more, so maybe like a cheeseburger or an extra large French fries or something like that. And that is your body working exactly how it's supposed to. Because when your body the fuel tank is low, it's almost like the gas tank flashing on in your car on the dashboard when it's low on fuel. When your body's low on fuel like that, all it cares about is getting energy in as quickly as possible. Okay? So the quickest source of energy is sugar, and the most efficient energy is fat. Okay? So when you're starving, that is what you're going to gravitate towards. Is something really sugary and a high level of fat. Okay? And that's okay. That's what your body is looking for. That's what it needs. Quick energy, because it's low on energy. But think about that. If you're going through the day and you're hungry a lot, like you're skipping breakfast and you're really kind of skimping on lunch, or just grabbing a granola bar and a Diet Coke or something, and then you're running to practice, it's no wonder that when you get home, it's really hard to make healthy food choices, right? Yeah, so one of the ways it's really going to set yourself up for success to be able to make healthy food choices and manage your portions is if you eat consistently throughout the day. You will be amazed, okay? So that's why I like to jump to the timing first. I always say don't let food just happen, because it's going to be a disaster. If you go through the day just eating whenever you're hungry and we're not thinking about it, it ends up not being the most performance-enhancing pattern of eating. Okay. So the 3 meals, at the expense of sounding like your mother, 3 balanced meals really is the foundation of a healthy performance diet. Okay. So starting off your day with breakfast. How many people here eat breakfast before they go to school? Oh, that's awesome. That is great, you guys. That is so important. And I know sometimes, yeah, because really when you wake up in the morning, your body is on pure empty. And so it's really important to get fuel in your body, not only to get your metabolism up and going, but to fuel your brain and to fuel what you're eating at breakfast and lunch. That is really what's fueling that afternoon practice. Okay? So getting up and eating something for breakfast before you go to school. What kind of things do you guys eat for breakfast? Oatmeal, yeah, I love oatmeal. Bagel, good. Toast, great, that's great. And I love that all of these are carbohydrate heavy meals, okay? And that's what you need in the morning, is carbohydrates, mostly because your body has utilized up pretty much all your carbohydrates overnight. Because overnight when you're sleeping, your body is repairing itself, it's rebuilding, it's doing all kinds of things. Even though you think, I'm just sleeping, I really don't need any fuel, your body's doing a lot overnight. And it's important to be able to give it something when you wake up in the morning to start fueling your body for the rest of the day, okay? So you'll see on here that it says to strive to have your first meal within the first 60 to 90 minutes that you're awake, okay? And then what you want to do is fuel throughout the day. And I work with college students, so a lot of times they're like, well, Jane, but I didn't wake up till 11 or 12, so what do I do about breakfast? And they get all confused about the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I actually don't even use those terms anymore. I use meal 1, meal 2, and meal 3. And that's why I put these different sample patterns. So even if you wake up, let's say it's the weekend, and you wake up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, that's okay. You can think of that as being your first meal. And then your lunch will be more like around 2, and usually the meals just kind of get pushed back a little bit. But so no matter what your sleeping pattern or your day schedule like, it's still important to get 3 meals a day, okay? And then snacks in between, guided by hunger. So we'll talk about that in a second, okay? So that's the first thing I work on with my athletes, is I have them starting to make sure that they're eating regularly throughout the day, okay? Lunch is another important one, and I know, do you guys have really early lunches? Yeah. What time is the early lunch? 10:30. It's really early. So that you may have to play around with. Sometimes some of my athletes will do kind of a breakfast, lunch, breakfast 1 and breakfast 2. So they'll eat something before they go and then they'll kind of eat a second breakfast, more around 10:30 at their lunchtime. So this is a good time to look at your schedule and start being able to plan when you're going to be eating your meals, okay? So that's really important to kind of plan. And it talks about it here, and I'm also going to give you another handout that will give you some ideas of how to set that pattern in place and practice a performance-enhancing pattern. So the second one is actually, we're talking a little bit about it, is that what food choices then? Okay, so you have consistent eating, then what kind of food choices are smart food choices for enhancing your performance? And this is the athlete's plate. So you may have seen in school the my plate that's replaced the My Pyramid. Learn a little bit about that, bless you. This is a My Plate, but it's designed for athletes, okay? And I like this because it shows you the different food groups, but gives you a list of ideas of what's in each of those food groups. So this is a model of what you want to strive for in terms of what your meals look like, okay? So having a good source of protein, lean protein, to build muscles. Protein is kind of the structural nutrient. Carbohydrates are your energy. It energizes everything that your body does, even blinking your eyes to beating your heart, okay? And then fruits and vegetables. And what I tell my athletes is fruits and vegetables, they contain lots of vitamins and minerals. It's those vitamins and minerals that actually take our food and change them into energy, or change them into a form that then our body uses. So that's why vitamins and minerals are so important. Okay. And then also including healthy fats in your diet. That's very important, especially for athletes. Something I really focus on when I'm working with an athlete with an injury, because these healthy fats actually help reduce inflammation. So a lot of times, you know, if you've been training a lot and you may not realize, but you may have a little bit of inflammation in your joints and your knees, things like that. Making sure you're including healthy fats in your diet, like peanut butter, almond butter, nuts and seeds, avocado, olive oil, all those kind of things are really, they're good sources of fat that are going to help your body repair itself and stay healthy and injury-free, okay? So that's something to think about when you're putting together your meals and you're making food choices. So for, let's say today for lunch, when you go and make decisions of what to have for lunch, make sure that you are getting something from each of the food groups, okay? Okay, so we have our food choices and we have our timing. If you have your timing down and you're making healthy food choices and balanced food choices, let me tell you, managing your portions is going to be so much easier, because now you're not going to be starving. So you'll be able to portion a little bit better, okay? So this is, you'll see number 2, portion management. You'll see all these little faces here. One of the things we work on with athletes is having them trust their bodies to tell them when and how much to eat. So what we tell them is before, anytime you're about to eat, check in with your stomach and rate how hungry you are from 1 to 10. So 1 would be like so starving you could not even crawl to the refrigerator, okay? And then 10 would be like that Thanksgiving stuffed, but you can't get off the couch. Okay, those are the extremes. Okay, hopefully we want to stay away from those extremes as much as possible. So, but when you'll see here, when you're getting to like a 4 or a 3, you're starting to feel kind of those hunger pangs, or some people just kind of feel lightheaded, or some people get a headache. We all feel hunger in a different way. When you feel hungry, that's your body telling it's low on fuel, so it's time to eat something. And so we say honor your hunger, especially as an athlete. Okay? That means your body needs some fuel, and it's time to refuel. Okay? Same with the fullness. Okay, a lot of times I'll ask my athletes, so how do you know when to stop eating? And they'll tell me when they're stuffed. That's too far. So let's back it down just a little bit. So checking in with your stomach when you're eating something and kind of seeing where you feel, if you're starting to feel comfortably satisfied, then that may be time that you've had enough. Okay? So those, we're carrying around a perfect weight regulator. Right? Our stomachs tell us when we need to eat, when we need to stop. The problem is we ignore them a lot. Yeah. So that's a great way to start just paying attention. So maybe today, and then maybe over the weekend, just anytime you're about to eat something, rate how hungry you are, and kind of start getting used to doing that. Okay. And so, eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full. When you're reaching for something, if you're reaching for something you're not really hungry, maybe tuning in to see what else. Sometimes we eat when we're bored or we're stressed or in front of the TV, things like that. That maybe eating isn't really what we need to do at that point, maybe something else, okay? Managing your environment is key because hunger and full isn't going to be perfect if we're sitting there right in front of a big bowl of M&Ms. Okay, because then we're gonna think we kind of feel hungry. And I gotta tell you, last night was a perfect example. Okay, had some M&Ms after dinner. And you know when you get some M&Ms and they're like just super fresh, so they taste really good. But these were super fresh and they tasted really good. So I had some. Even when I'm eating them, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna want more. But I had taken just a little bit out of the big Costco bag, a little bit out of the bag, and I was sitting in front of TV. And I'm like, as I'm eating, I'm thinking, I'm getting more because I knew there was just a little left in the bag. I thought, I'll just go finish the bag. But I have to tell you, I sat there, more because I was just feeling a little bit tired and lazy to get up again. But by the time I got my energy up to go get more, I didn't want any more. So it was amazing. I was like, oh, I just proved to myself what I'm usually preaching, is that sometimes before you go and get more M&Ms or more cereal or more whatever, is just wait for about 5 minutes, because sometimes it just kind of, you just ride out that little rave of cravings, okay? But if you really want more, definitely go get it. But what I did is I took some M&Ms and I took them someplace else versus just eating right out of the bag, because you know if you eat right out of the bag, I would have gone through the whole bag. Okay, so those are just little strategies to manage your environment, okay, and there's a little bit more on here for that. Okay, so just a couple more things, and then I definitely want to answer some questions if you guys have any, is about hydration, okay? You guys probably have gotten the hydration talk a million times by this time, but I just want to highlight it, and the reason that we do that, where coaches push it, sports dietitians push it, strength coaches push it, is because hydration can really very quickly make a major impression on your performance level. When you're in a 2% dehydrated state, which a lot of us just walk around almost on a daily basis, 2% dehydrated, you have 15% reduction in your performance. So it's an easy way to make sure you are working at the top of your game, okay, is by staying hydrated. Think about this. A swimmer, when you think about swimmers, they are in cool water, okay, swimming. They can get dehydrated in 30 minutes. Can you imagine how quickly you can get dehydrated out on that field? Very quickly. So if you're going onto the field already a little bit dehydrated, that's going to be really hard to keep your hydration up. Okay? And we find, we were talking this morning about a lot of sports, you'll see teams kind of taking a nosedive in that second quarter or the second half of the game. The second half of the game. A lot of times it's a hydration issue. Okay? So if you guys as a team can really commit to staying hydrated and well-fueled, the basketball coach at University of Maryland would always say the games are won in that second half. And that's very true. It's the teams that can stay strong in that second half when your opponent is taking the nosedive, okay? So hydration is really important. Most of the time during the day, water, 100% fruit juice, things like that are adequate, okay? Sports drinks like Gatorade, things like that, those are important during practices and competitions, okay? Not necessarily, you don't necessarily need to drink those throughout the day, all day long, okay? But when it's, especially when it's warm, especially when you have tournaments, when you guys are doing a couple games in a row in a day, doing some sports drink really is important. What's great about sports drinks, a couple things. It's giving you not only fluid, but it's also giving you the electrolytes. And electrolytes are what keep your muscles firing kind of on all cylinders. So you want to make sure you have plenty of electrolytes in you, okay? But what it also does is the way that sports drinks are designed is they leave your stomach very quickly, okay? So water kind of sits, if you ever kind of drank a bunch of water and then sloshing around in your stomach, it's not a good feeling at all, right? So Gatorade and all the other sports, they are designed, there's an osmolality, you may learn that in chemistry, where it's in a balance where it leaves the stomach very quickly. And that's what athletes need. They don't need that fluid sitting in their stomach. They need it out so they can be working, okay? So that's what sports drinks are really good for, okay? And a lot of times we dilute the sports drink, or we think it has too much sugar in it, things like that. But the sugar in sports drinks are important for an athlete, because that sugar, actually they usually have a couple different forms of sugar in the sports drink, because they're trying to use those different pathways I talked about earlier. Those are fueling your muscles, so you need that sugar in there when you're drinking sports drink during a game or a warm practice, okay? So trying not to dilute it. I know sometimes it may seem kind of strong, but the way that it's designed, it's in that perfect balance. That's going to leave your stomach and it's going to give you all of the things that it needs, okay? And that sugar's okay. I know especially out in the world, more sugar has become like this demon. And really, sugar is important, especially for an athlete. It's our quick energy source. Okay? So that's a little bit about sports drink and when it's important to utilize. Okay. So I think that's what I did. Is I went ahead and put number 5. That's usually the biggest question I get is kind of what should we eat before our workouts? What should we eat after? So I put some of the pre-fueling, which is very carbohydrate based. Remember, you guys are doing a great job with your breakfast. You're doing carbohydrate dense breakfast. That's what you want to do. That's what you would be doing right before your practice. Okay, especially if you have an early lunch. You definitely want to top off your tank before your afternoon practice. Okay, and then post recovery, very important. If you're not going to be sitting down eating dinner within an hour after your practices, then you want to go ahead and do a post recovery snack. Because your muscles are like sponges. They are ready to soak up the fluids for hydration, the protein to rebuild your muscles, and the carbohydrates to refuel your muscles so that the next day at practice you feel good. When I always ask an athlete, I always say, do your workouts feel harder as the week is going on? And if they say yes, that tells me they're not recovering between their workouts and that we have to look more at that recovery snack. Okay. What I also brought to you, and you can take one of these and pass them around, is lacrosse. Okay, sorry guys, it's lacrosse, but the information is the same. So, and I know some of you guys are lacrosse players. So thank you. I'll give you some of these too. So the information is the same. It talks about fueling beforehand. These are specifically for student athletes, so it takes into consideration your classes and all the things that you have going on. That's hard to get good nutrition in. So that may give you some tips and some ideas. I know that it has some really good examples of good healthy snacks. Okay. So definitely think about timing. Make sure this is a good week before school starts, so you can start practicing, making sure you're getting 3 meals a day with snacks in between. Okay, making